Because the thing is, it kind of doesn't always matter where we are. We have these experiences regardless.
Right.
And so I think that humanity is what you're gonna really take.
Okay, stop scrolling, because what I'm about to tell you will make your jaw drop. Alicia Keys, Swizz Beatz, LaLa Anthony. And yes, Carmelo Anthony are back in the middle of a scandal that's older than most social media rumors but hotter than ever. Old whispers, blurry photos, and one single rumor. Enough to make the internet explode. But here's the twist. Truth barely matters. Is this real drama? Or just Hollywood playing its favorite game, turning powerful women into villains while men glide by unbothered? Stick around, because we're breaking down every juicy detail, every double standard, and why this story isn't going away anytime soon. You won't believe the latest buzz in Hollywood. Alicia Keys just spilled the tea on how she allegedly caught Swizz Beatz with LaLa Anthony. Yes, you heard that right. Carmelo Anthony's ex. And as soon as the rumor hit, social media basically grabbed their pitchforks and didn't bother waiting for proof. But let's pause for a reality check before we dive into the drama. There's a difference between gossip and verified facts. So here's what we actually know. Alicia and Swizz tied the knot in 2010, have 2 kids, and have been serving joint red carpet goals ever since. LaLa Anthony, on the other hand, married Carmelo in 2010 too and filed for divorce in 2021 after years of, let's say, Melo's off-court adventures making headlines. Now, this caught-together story isn't exactly fresh. Back in 2021, radio host Miss Jones claimed she had a DM suggesting Swizz was involved with LaLa, but he denied it. Alicia stayed quiet, and the internet moved on. Fast forward to today, and suddenly that old spark feels like a wildfire. Because in the world of social media, you don't need confirmation. The idea of someone in the same circle being linked to Alicia's husband is enough to make Twitter explode. And that, my friends, is how Hollywood tea works. A small ember back then, a raging fire now.
Wish is to have a partner in the scene that is cool and patient and understanding so it does.
Let's rewind the clock a bit. Back in 2013, whispers started swirling about Swizz being maybe a little too friendly at industry parties. Nothing concrete ever surfaced, but the rumor mill never forgets. Fast forward to 2016, Carmelo Anthony allegedly fathers a child outside his marriage. That rocked LaLa Anthony's world, and suddenly she's out there on her own, looking unbothered and thriving. And you know how the circles of power work. When someone's vulnerable, the comforting friend often appears. By 2017 to 2018, paparazzi were spotting LaLa at the same events as Swizz and Alicia, fashion weeks, art shows, group settings. Innocent moments. Yes, but social media doesn't care about context. A simple reach for a drink suddenly becomes fodder for headlines about secret affairs. Then 2021 rolls around, and the story gets serious juice. Radio host Miss Jones, known for spilling unfiltered tea, claimed on air that a trusted source from Swizz camp confirmed he was involved with LaLa. The blogs exploded, social media lit up, but both parties stayed silent. LaLa didn't entertain it, Swizz dismissed it online, and Alicia? She remained quiet, proving sometimes silence speaks louder than words. Now, here we are in 2025, and rumors suggest Alicia caught them again. No photos, no leaked messages, just whispers gaining momentum because it fits a narrative people are already primed to believe. LaLa's single, Swizz has history, Alicia's reputation is untouchable publicly. Truth barely matters, gossip only needs a pattern. And let's be real, LaLa could be minding her own business, living her best life, and still end up in the center of a messy blog story. Why? Because she checks all the boxes, a known beauty in hip-hop circles, a former MTV VJ, a power star, she's always been that everyone calls fine type. And in an industry where big egos often outshine bank accounts, that makes her an easy target for speculation. And here's where it gets even juicier. First, in the gossip world, even a simple glance in the wrong direction can spark a story. If a man breathes near her, suddenly rumors say they're linked. Second, LaLa's history with Carmelo Anthony already had plenty of drama. Melo's side escapades were public, and who could forget the alleged love child scandal of 2017? LaLa tried to hold it together, but once trust cracks in the public eye, it's impossible to fully recover. Every time a man wrongs her, the narrative flips. People assume she's probably getting her lick back, even when she's not. Third, her career naturally keeps her around high-profile men. Acting gigs, reality TV, red carpets, exclusive parties. LaLa's life thrives on visibility. Unlike someone like Sarah Chapman, Chance's mom, who stays under the radar, LaLa's brand is all about being seen. And more visibility means more cameras, more speculation, and more headlines ready to be written. Finally, she's single now. And in the logic of gossip, single plus attractive plus in the industry equals automatic target. People don't even need proof. They just love inserting LaLa into scandalous storylines because it sells.
You know, I can't lean on what I did before. I gotta put my feet in the paint today.
Now,
and work.
let's shine a light on Swizz, because this man's name has been swirling in the rumor mill for years. And it's not without reason. His relationship with Alicia started with its own share of controversy. Allegedly, he was still legally married to his first wife, Mars Honda, when things began with Alicia. Mars Honda even went public in 2009 with that famous open letter accusing Alicia of breaking up her marriage. From the very beginning, people were watching this union with side eyes. Swizz himself? Charismatic, flashy, and loving the spotlight. Think art shows, luxury cars, extravagant gifts. He knows how to make women feel noticed. That energy is his brand. And when your public persona exudes ladies' man vibes, the assumption of temptation is always lurking. Add in his messy history with exes, public fights over child support, and rumors of flings even after marrying Alicia, and the man's reputation practically writes the gossip for him. So when the latest story linking him to LaLa pops up, the streets instantly nod. It fits too perfectly. Swizz, the flashy producer with a wandering eye, and LaLa, the gorgeous actress fresh out of a messy marriage, suddenly make the perfect gossip storm. Truth or not, the narrative practically creates itself. Meanwhile, Alicia Keys? She's always played the long game. Her image is carefully built on soul, grace, and that whole classy queen who doesn't do drama energy. And in a world where rumors move faster than facts, that silence speaks volumes, keeping her reputation untouchable while the tea brews around her. Remember back in the day when Mars Honda aired out Swizz? Alicia didn't hop on Twitter, didn't go live on Instagram crying, didn't clap back publicly. She stayed quiet, smiled through interviews, and doubled down on her music. And guess what? That silence worked. Over time, the headlines faded, and Alicia went from tabloid fodder to being celebrated as the barefoot goddess at the piano. Fast forward to now. The rumors linking Swizz and LaLa Anthony are swirling, and Alicia? Still quiet. But that silence isn't accidental, it's strategic. The second she says anything, blogs will tear it apart. By staying silent, she leaves room for speculation while keeping her hands clean. The tricky part? Silence cuts both ways. Fans start reading into it. Why isn't she defending her marriage? Why isn't she speaking out? Maybe they think it's true. That old saying, silence can be taken as agreement, applies here. Alicia's quiet preserves her image, but it also fuels the gossip fire. People will either call her a strong woman who doesn't entertain drama or a wife quietly suffering. Either way, she's now part of the narrative without saying a word. Here's the Hollywood truth. Gossip isn't always about what's real, it's about leverage. These whispers about LaLa and Swizz? They aren't just petty tea, they are tools. They distract, discredit, and put pressure on people behind the scenes. Think about Offset and Cardi's scandals. Rumors of infidelity always popped up when something bigger was brewing, like an album drop or a court case. Same energy here. Swizz is navigating the art world, Alicia is selling out tours, and LaLa is trying to solidify her Hollywood career. One ugly rumor, and it shakes everything in sight. And here's the kicker. These rumors don't just hurt feelings, they impact careers. Endorsements get nervous, directors second-guess casting, and suddenly opportunities start drying up. Sometimes, these stories aren't even organic, they are planted. Maybe it's someone salty, a business rival, or even someone inside the circle stirring chaos. In Hollywood, gossip isn't just chatter, it's chess. So when blogs push LaLa and Swizz stories hard, ask yourself, who benefits? Is it clickbait? A subtle way to humble Alicia? Or a tactic to keep LaLa stuck in the messy ex narrative instead of letting her grow professionally? Rumors can be weapons, and with histories like Swizz's past and LaLa's baggage with Mello, it doesn't take much for people to believe the worst. Let's be real, LaLa Anthony has been hustling since her MTV VJ days. She built a career beyond being Carmelo Anthony's ex-books, beauty lines, acting roles, producing. She's stacked up serious credentials. But the public doesn't always separate LaLa the hustler from LaLa the ex-wife. Every time Mello's name trends, whether for his NBA legacy or side drama, LaLa gets dragged back in. People see her glow up, The new body, the acting gigs, the red carpets, and immediately whisper, she only got that far because she left Mello. And now, here's where it gets even spicier. If the rumors about Swizz are true, people are ready to spin the same narrative all over again. The cycle continues, fueled by history, visibility, and Hollywood's love for a juicy story. Now let's break down the narrative. People are quick to say LaLa traded one baller for another powerful man. True or not, her success gets side-eyed, her grind overshadowed by the men around her. Meanwhile, Mello, despite all the alleged cheating and outside kids, still gets introduced as a future Hall of Famer. His missteps? Side notes. LaLa's wins, however, are constantly tied to scandal. This is the double-edged sword she's been navigating for years. Her accomplishments get linked to a man's reputation instead of standing on their own. And that brings us to double standards. When Swizz's name pops up in rumors, people shrug and laugh. Well, that's Swizz. But toss LaLa into the same story, and suddenly she's messy, thirsty, or can't keep a man. History has a way of repeating itself, especially when it comes to public perception of women in high-profile relationships. Take Beyoncé, for example. When she took Jay-Z back after his widely publicized cheating scandal, the world's focus wasn't on his behavior, his infidelity, or the mistakes he made. Instead, people scrutinized her choices. They questioned her self-worth, asking why she would forgive, why she would stay, why she wouldn't leave. The narrative shifted away from the man who broke trust to the woman who allegedly allowed it to happen. Her strength, patience, and ability to navigate a complex relationship were overshadowed by judgment and critique. Jennifer Lopez faced a similar fate. When she moved on from one relationship to another, the headlines didn't celebrate her autonomy, her resilience, or her pursuit of happiness. Instead, she was labeled desperate, as if making the decision to continue living her life and seeking love was somehow a moral failing. Society has a strange way of holding women accountable for the choices they make in pursuit of personal fulfillment, while men who make comparable, or far worse, decisions face little to no scrutiny. Meanwhile, men like Future exemplify the stark double standard in play. He can father child after child with women across the zodiac, create a public persona filled with excess and toxicity, and still be lauded by the media and fans as a toxic king. His behavior is almost glamorized, celebrated as part of his larger-than-life persona. Yet, when a woman steps into the public eye, whether by choice or by circumstance, and her life intersects even tangentially with that of a high-profile man, she is instantly labeled messy, reckless, or morally compromised. This is exactly the position LaLa Anthony finds herself in. She receives no grace, no benefit of the doubt. She was loyal during Mello's NBA years, standing by him through the highs and lows, the public scrutiny, and even the scandals that unfolded in real time. She supported him, forgave mistakes, and maintained a sense of dignity even when the spotlight was harshest. Yet, the moment she is seen enjoying her life, living freely, pursuing her career, and thriving in her own right, critics and gossip writers quickly spin her narrative into that of a villain. Her actions, even when entirely innocent or professionally motivated, are dissected and reframed. Acting alongside 50 Cent? Suddenly, it's a scandal. Being rumored to be close to Swizz? Instantly, the gossip columns and social media threads turn it into evidence of misconduct or moral failing. LaLa's accomplishments, independence, and growth are overshadowed by the stories constructed around her associations. Her loyalty during Mello's career, her resilience after public embarrassment, and her ability to maintain her own brand are often ignored or minimized, replaced instead with a sensationalized portrayal designed to fit a familiar template: the woman as the villain, the disruptor, or the homewrecker. This pattern reflects a broader societal problem, one that has existed for decades. Women in public life are often defined less by their achievements and more by their relationships and perceived interactions with men. Success, talent, and personal growth are secondary to the narratives built around emotional entanglements, appearances, and moments captured out of context. LaLa's experience is a modern example of a long-standing double standard. Women are judged harshly for pursuing happiness, while men are celebrated or excused for far worse behaviors. In short, LaLa Anthony's story isn't just about gossip or rumor. It's a reflection of the persistent and pervasive ways society treats women in the public eye. Her loyalty, her strength, and her professional accomplishments are constantly weighed against a narrative that unfairly prioritizes her personal associations, creating a cycle where she is celebrated for little but vilified for much. Acting alongside high-profile men or simply living her life as a confidant, independent woman becomes grounds for scrutiny, judgment, and endless speculation. The irony is that the very same actions that are condemned in women are often excused, celebrated, or even rewarded in men. That's the Hollywood script for women. Either the angelic wife who suffers quietly or the villain who stole somebody's man. And here's the kicker, the blogs profit off this narrative. Drama sells. LaLa as the homewrecker, Alicia as the silent queen, now that's clickable. 3 successful people coexisting in peace? Not a headline in sight. The cycle thrives on imbalance, double standards, and keeping women boxed in, while the men glide past unscathed. Here's the hard truth. These double standards aren't just about gossip. They shape careers, endorsements, and even how future roles are offered. Men often bounce back without consequence. Women? They have to climb uphill just to be seen as more than the scandal attached to their name. And the part nobody talks about, but is the harshest reality, is the kids. Whenever cheating and DNA rumors start flying, the children get caught in the crossfire. Take LaLa and Melo's son, Kian. He's a teenager now, balling out, earning college offers, making a name on the court. But instead of just being Kian the hooper, he's carrying whispers like, "Ain't your dad the one who?" or "Yo mama was trending with Swizz." That's a weight no kid should bear. Swizz and Alicia's kids face the same invisible burden. They are too young to even understand cheating, yet the internet drags their dad's name into messes they didn't create. Imagine being old enough to Google your parents and finding yourself tangled in rumor threads, generational drama embedded into your digital history. None of these kids asked for it. They didn't choose who their parents love, cheat on, or leave. Yet, in the court of public opinion, they often take the fallout. This isn't unique. Future's kids, Diddy's kids, Will and Jada's kids. Public scandals always have private victims. Usually, it's the children. While adults tussle over rumors, the little ones inherit the side eye. Gossip doesn't just live online. It shapes real childhoods. And let's be real. This LaLa, Swizz, Alicia, Melo entanglement? It's not going anywhere. Why? Because it has all the ingredients blogs love: drama, history, fame, and a narrative that sells. And let's not forget the recipe that keeps this story simmering: power couples, messy timing, receipts, and the contrast between Alicia's angelic image and LaLa's spicy glow-up. It's like a Perry rom-com come to life. Even if everyone came out tomorrow and said, "It's all lies. We're family friends," the internet wouldn't buy it. The narratives are already set. Some see LaLa as leveling up. Some see Swizz as messy. Some see Alicia as too quiet to be happy. It's a puzzle no one wants to solve. And here's the kicker. Culture doesn't let black love triangles rest. Remember the drama with Diddy, Cassie, and Kim Porter? Or Chloe, Tristan, and Jordan Woods? Once the internet tastes a storyline like this, it transforms into its own soap opera. LaLa could book 10 more acting gigs, each one showing her range, her talent, her ability to command a scene. She could headline a blockbuster or take a supporting role in a critically acclaimed indie film. It wouldn't matter. Every move she makes professionally should, in theory, define her narrative. Alicia could drop another album, an entire project filled with soulful piano melodies, heartfelt lyrics, and the kind of voice that has defined a generation. Swizz could drop another beat battle, producing tracks that dominate charts, collaborations that get shouted out in every corner of the industry. Each of them is thriving in their respective fields, carving out their legacies, building portfolios that any young artist or producer would envy. They are successful, accomplished, and unmistakably talented. But here's the thing: one blurry rumor, a single, unverified snippet of gossip, can overshadow all of that. One poorly framed photograph, one vague social media post, one misunderstood interaction at a party, and suddenly, all the work, all the achievements, all the milestones are momentarily eclipsed by speculation. The internet, ever hungry for drama, immediately jumps to conclusions. A casual glance is misinterpreted as a secret meeting. A short conversation is twisted into a scandalous liaison. People dissect body language, scrutinize smiles, analyze hand gestures, and theorize endlessly about what they see instead of focusing on what actually exists. And that, right there, is the unfortunate reality for high-profile figures like LaLa, Alicia, Swizz, and Melo. That's why this story keeps coming back. It isn't about verifiable facts anymore, it's about the narrative itself. The entertainment value lies not in truth but in the collective imagination of the audience. the thrill of picturing powerful, glamorous, seemingly untouchable individuals caught in the messiness of human life. There's a fascination in watching celebrities navigate situations that mirror everyday drama, only on a scale magnified by wealth, fame, and public attention. Gossip thrives on this. The more complex the story, the more it captivates, the longer it lingers, and the more people feel compelled to weigh in. And for every professional achievement they rack up, the rumor mill ensures there's an equal or greater amount of attention on speculation. Whether there's actual fire behind the smoke or it's purely the invention of a blogger with a flair for the dramatic, one thing is certain. These four individuals are trapped in a public storyline that refuses to conclude. LaLa, with her glowing career and high visibility, Swizz, the iconic producer whose personal life has always been fodder for conversation, Alicia, the quietly commanding queen of grace and soul, and Melo, the former NBA star with a legacy both on and off the court. They exist in a narrative ecosystem where each action is amplified, each gesture magnified, and each rumor dissected. The internet refuses to let go. It doesn't matter how successful, composed, or accomplished these people are in their own right. The public's attention is anchored to the intrigue of their interpersonal connections. Think about it. No matter how many acting roles LaLa secures, no matter how many projects she completes or awards she earns, the fascination remains with whether or not she is somehow entangled in someone else's personal drama. Alicia can release an entire album, filled with the kind of artistry that would typically dominate headlines and critical acclaim, yet a single mention of her husband's alleged interactions with someone else immediately diverts the conversation away from her music. Swizz can produce beats that shape the sound of a generation, yet a rumor about his personal life circulates faster than any chart-topping hit he could drop. And Melo, whose statistics and career achievements have already cemented him in sports history, will always have his personal narrative dissected in tabloids and social media threads. It's not that these stories reflect reality. More often than not, they don't. It's that they tap into something far more compelling than facts: the imagination of the audience, the drama of speculation, and the allure of seeing perfection meet imperfection. Humans are inherently drawn to stories of contrast. The angelic versus the flawed, the quiet versus the wild, the successful versus the scandalized. Alicia's image as a calm, poised, soulful queen sits in direct tension against the speculation surrounding her husband and the glamorous, independent, and rising LaLa Anthony. The tension between these forces is irresistible to the audience because it reads like a story, complete with heroes, villains, plot twists, and unresolved endings. And that's the engine that keeps the gossip industry alive. It isn't just about clickbait or empty chatter. It's about creating a narrative that people can immerse themselves in, a drama that feels both real and aspirational. Even if tomorrow morning every single person involved came out and denied every rumor, the narrative wouldn't die. People have already chosen which storyline to believe. They have pre-made categories: LaLa as the ambitious up-and-comer, Swizz as the charismatic but messy producer, Alicia as the graceful yet silent observer, and Melo as the brilliant athlete whose personal life is conveniently downplayed. That mental framework ensures the gossip lives on because it's no longer contingent on reality, it exists in the collective imagination of the audience. So, whether it's a single blurry photo, a misunderstood interaction at an industry event, or a completely fabricated story from a blog, the effect remains the same. The narrative outpaces reality. The speculation outshines accomplishments. And the audience? They remain hooked. LaLa, Swizz, Alicia, and Melo have become characters in a modern-day drama that refuses to end, one fueled by visibility, history, and human fascination with scandal. And honestly, that's exactly why the gossip industry thrives. It doesn't need truth. It only needs the promise of drama, the possibility of conflict, and the spectacle of powerful people navigating messy, all too human lives.